Gamajobo Megobrebo. In this video, I wanted to talk about 10 of my favorite spots to visit in Georgia. And this isn't necessarily a recommendation for everyone. I recognize people like different things. I myself am not as much of a city person. So, for instance, I didn't list a lot of the big cities, but I like the country, I like the nature. And so, yeah, with that, I'll just share some of my favorite places, maybe some suggestions for things to do and to see in those places. And so, with that, let's dive in. So the first place on our list is the town of Akhaltsikhe, and that translates to Newcastle. It's a place that I really love because I've spent a lot of time there. I was there for about 3 years. I have a lot of friends, close friends, and my host family who's still there, one of my host families. As far as cool things to do for visitors, so let's get this out of the way. So one of the things is this castle called Rabati, and I want to say there are parts of it that date back to the 10th century or something like that, maybe older, not really sure. But it's a cool castle. You can walk around the grounds and see a great view of the city and the town. There's also what's interesting is there's a mosque, there's a synagogue, and a Christian church as well. So that was one of the things that people point out. It's kind of a sign that people of different lifestyles and worldviews were able to live together in harmony and worship in their own ways. As far as in that castle, there's also a restaurant you can have lunch in, which is kind of nice. Another thing to do in Akhaltsikhe is this monastery. It's called Sapara Monastery, and one of the things I liked about it is that it's very much tucked away in the mountain, and it was so quiet and peaceful there that I really enjoyed just walking around and just having a relaxing time. So that's about maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30-minute car ride, maybe less from the town. You just got to take a taxi up. Maybe it's like 10 minutes actually. It's pretty close. Um, and then the third thing I would say is that I've only seen this in Samskhe Jawaheti, which is kind of the area that Akhaltsikhe is in, that region. And it's a type of khinkali that they eat, which is the dumpling. And what they do is they fry onions and they put it on top of there, on the khinkali. And they also take matsoni sometimes, which is the yogurt, the Georgian yogurt, and they'll mix it with some garlic and throw that on there. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It is really heavy, and I can only eat a little bit of it at a time, but it is delicious. So definitely something to check out if you are in that area. So that's Akhaltsikhe. So the second place on my list of favorite places in Georgia is a town called Mestia. This is going to be on the northern part of the country. You can see here it's pretty close to the Russian border here. As far as, let me show you some photos. So this is what it looks like. This is walking into the center of the town. You can see during the winter, even I think the non-winter months, there's still snow on the mountain a lot of times. So here is a nice lookout point that you can go up to and just kind of have a beautiful view. You can have some food. This is a nice view of the town and overlooking the whole area there. So this is something cool that I recommend. This is a hike. Yeah, you can go up to sort of one of the mountains close to the town. It's a pretty intense hike, so maybe if you're looking for something easy, you could just drive up there. But just a wonderful view overlooking the entire town. So this is it's like a town hall or a building dedicated, a museum. It's dedicated to one of the world famous climbers from the area. Um, and they always have a lot of events where there's dancing or singing and things like that you can catch in the town, which is cool. So the other thing I loved about the area as well is it's just so peaceful and quiet. You can kind of go up to the mountainside, and this is one of the hostels that I stayed at, and it was wonderful. Another shot of the town. This is in the town center. This was another cultural event that we had, and so oftentimes there's things like that going on. So hopefully you can catch one of those. and that is Mestia. So next on my list, number 3 is a town called Ushguli, and this is actually fairly close to Mestia. It takes a while to get there by car just because the road is windy and it's up in the mountains, but it is just a beautiful area. I mean, if Mestia is already beautiful, but this has even less development, so if you're a hiker or someone looking to camp, this is a wonderful place. This is it's kind of a small town there. I mean, I don't know, it's probably a few dozen houses, if that, um, but it's just beautiful. This is more photos of us walking around, doing some hiking. There's a lot of cool remnants of sort of buildings or I guess those towers that are kind of known in that area. So we're kind of exploring some of those. You can check those out. It's interesting. Yeah, so Ushguli, something to check out. So number 4 on my list is a town called Adigeni, or an area. It's both a town and an area, and it's probably something that most people would laugh at or wonder like why on earth I love that place. But I work there and I spend a lot of time there, and I know a lot of people there. It's a very cool, quiet area. So it's not flashy. It's not a big city, but there are some very cool things in that area. It's very laid back. You know, it's kind of a rural area, and one of the things that's cool to do there. So let me show you a picture. Well, so this is just a view. You know, it's a beautiful area, and like a lot of places in Georgia. But this was one not in Adigeni exact, or not in the proper part of Adigeni, but in that area. So it just shows you how beautiful it is. This was a cultural event, so sometimes they have things like that. So this was really cool. This is a place called Akhaltsikhe, which is a gold castle, and there's some ruins of an old castle there that you can explore, and you'll have to hike up there, but it's worth it. It's an incredible view. Just pull it up a little bit. Yeah, so you kind of overlook the whole area around there. Definitely something to check out. Number 5 is a very small town called Khulo, and it is the east of Akhaltsikhe even. It's between Batumi and Akhaltsikhe, kind of in the mountains. It's a beautiful area, like all of the places that I've mentioned already. But this place kind of reminded me of the Swiss Alps a little bit, sort of in a valley seeming, and just very green. I had a friend who lived there, and so he showed us around. So this was very cool. He was able to get us on this cable car that went across the valley. So we took a ride on that. Again, you can see here, just a beautiful area. So not much to do there. I mean, it's just kind of a beautiful area to see, and I found that the people were, like a lot of places in Georgia, just very hospitable. So I loved it because we had a good time there. I think we did a sports camp, and so it was a lot of fun and brings back good memories for me. So that is Khulo. Number 6 on my list is a region called Guria, and I didn't spend much time here. I visited a friend who lived in that area, and it was, I think some of the standout things is the people were very fun. They're kind of known for being very loud and very talkative and just fun people. So I enjoyed meeting people from there. Well, I really liked that it was very green. I don't know. It was a little bit humid when I went there, but I just felt like the nature was beautiful. An interesting thing that I wish I had seen, which I um, would like to at some point in the future, is this place called Gomis Mata, and just the pictures of it. This place up in the mountains that's sort of shrouded by the clouds. It just looks pretty epic. So that would be my recommendation if you are able to visit that region. So that is the region of Guria. So at number 7, we have a city of Batumi, and this was a cool place. I really liked the vibe that it sort of had during the summer. I will warn against going during the winter. It's a place that tourists frequent during the summer to go to the beach and be in the sun. So it's kind of dead during the winter and off summer months. But during the summer, it just had a fun, very relaxed vibe to it. And so this is kind of what it looks like. Here's some photos. So yeah, you can walk around the town and or walk around the city. You can go to the beach. One of my favorite things to do was to go to the botanical garden, which was actually really cool. It has a lot of different, um, what do you call it? Sort of, um, it's like different types of, not biospheres, but anyway, a lot of different environments that it shows just in this one garden, botanical garden. So that was something cool to do. And yeah, oh, the other thing is, if you like Turkish food, there's sort of a Turkish quarter of the city, part of the city that's there's a lot of Turkish people and great Turkish food. So if you're into that, that would be something to check out. So that is Batumi. Number 8 on my list is in town or an area called Khevsureti. And this is very far north, right up against the Russian border. And it took us a while, I don't know, I want to say 8 hours or something to get up there. And so you'll have to hire someone to get up there. But if you love to camp or hike, definitely an area to check out. I mean, you talk about Georgia being beautiful, but this place is next level, and it's just so remote. You know, not very many people get to go up there. So taking a look at some photos here, we got to do a trip um, with some friends. So we did some hiking and just got to see the area. So as you can see, just mountain ranges, lots of mountains. So a couple of buddies of mine. So there's a lot of these towers around as well. Those are cool. There's some. I guess this was just a. I forget what the historical significance of this place is, but this apparently it's been there for a while, and no one lives there now. But yeah, it was cool to explore. And so the last thing I would say about Khevsureti that I really stands out in my mind is we got to eat khinkali in that area, and it was so good. I mean, I've heard people talk about, oh, khinkali is good in this area or that area, but I think this is maybe where it sort of originated. And so, I don't know, just the freshness of the meat that they used and the spices, it was just next level khinkali. So, if you like those dumplings, this is definitely some place to eat them. So that is Khevsureti. Number 9 on my list is a town called Abastumani. And this is an area where my host family actually is originally from, so we got to go there fairly often. It's a very small town, but like everywhere else, it's beautiful. It's a lot of forest and kind of a beautiful valley, I guess, if it's is that what it's in. So, for instance, this photo here, you can kind of see it's this sort of valley, I guess, but beautiful. There's also an observatory in that area. So here, it's pretty cool. You can check that out. There are also sulfur baths, so that's interesting. We did that once. Just natural, just natural spring water. Um, and yeah. And number 10 on my list is a town called Khashuri. So this is another town that most people actually talk bad about, unfortunately, a lot. I think because there's not a whole lot there. It's sort of in the middle of the country, and it's just a lot of um, traffic that goes through there. But I lived there for a few months, and people there took really good care of me. One of my host families is still there, and so it's a place that I have a personal connection to. But it's also pretty cool as well. Outside of the area, let me just show you a photo. So this is the town itself. Walking around the town. And so as you go outside of the town, it's actually pretty green. There's some nice forest around there. It's another photo. There's a beautiful lake that we got to see. So there's some hiking around that area that you could do. And also they're known for hammocks. So if That's kind of just a thing that is very unique about that town is there's a whole street dedicated to people who sell hammocks. So if you're looking for a hammock, that you can pick one up there. And yeah, so that's Khashuri. So that was my top 10 list of favorite places in Georgia. And if you have some places in Georgia that you love and are particularly interesting for you, go ahead and leave those down in the comments. And so until next time, Dorobit.